Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Last night I was able to watch the Smack 'em Up Reality Bites documentary on Prince Devitt. The first time I heard about this basically was by Court Bauer of Bauer and Pollock. They have a podcast which is part of the live audio wrestling, The Law. If you subscribe to them on iTunes, it subscribes to your box automatically, as well as all the other shows that come along with there. It's becoming one of the podcasts I listen to the most, behind Wrestling Observer, behind the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, behind Cheap Heat. It's basically in my top 5 list of shows that's in my rotation that I'm constantly listening to. But Court Bauer brought this up and sort of gave an outline about what this was, and it sort of went along with what I'm trying to do. I haven't been watching NXT, but I was watching the specials. I listened to the reviews, especially when Brian and Vinny review them, or somebody talks about something that's really big that happens on the show. And basically, with me not watching TNA anymore, and NXT being a part of the WWE Network, which I already have on my television, it's one of the easiest shows for me to completely watch. I'm like, why are you not watching this? So, in order to sort of get behind Prince Devitt, who now is Finn Balor, who I'm still trying to get used to saying his name, I was like, this would be an awesome opportunity for me to find out more about this guy. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you know that when NXT came out and people kept talking about Daniel Bryan, I said I wanted to find out more about this guy, and I went out and I got his Ring of Honor Best of DVD, and I watched that, and I thought it was good, but I thought that it was honestly kind of short, and I wish I would have known more about it. So I went out to my my old sort of trading grounds of bootleg DVDs, and this one guy sold me a 16-disc compilation of the best of Bryan Danielson from all of his matches, and I still haven't watched all of those, but there was a lot on there to really get the background of who he was and see some of his best matches before WWE. So basically, I said, I'm going to make sure I go out of my way to try and find this. I thought this was a documentary that I was going to be able to go buy on DVD. It turned out that this was like a TV special. I don't know if it was made in England. I don't know if it was made in Ireland. Somewhere it looks like it's recorded off of television. And when the credits roll at the end, they're doing a promo to watch CSI. So it definitely has to be something on television, but I don't know where it came from. All I know is that it's being put up over the YouTube, and as fast as it goes, as fast as it gets put up, it's being pulled down. So basically, I wasn't really constantly looking for it, but as people were posting reviews or people were tweeting about it, I would ask, and I kept on getting the same responses when I reached out to my buddy Zach. Last night after he posted a review, I said, where can I get that? And he was like, oh man, you just missed it. It just got taken down, but next time I see it, I'll let you know. It turns out that one of my Twitter followers, I want to give him a plug. His name is Mario, and what is your regular? Oh man, it has to be something I can't pronounce. It looks like it's Saucedo Pro is his Twitter account, at SAUCEDOPRO. He was able to give me a link. It's a 1-hour documentary, and I was able to go over there and check it out. Now, I am honestly not going to give you the best review on this. One of the best reviews was one of the ones I watched last night from Zach Brown. He used to be WWE Punk fan, but I think he changed his name to his real name. So however you can find that, if I'm nice. And I remember as I'm uploading this, I'll put his link down in the description below. He's somebody that's been following Prince Devitt for longer than I have. Honestly, through my friends, through my Skype calls from Matt Beast, from Destin, I've honestly been hearing about Prince Devitt since 2010, but I honestly didn't know who he was. Honestly, to completely embarrass myself for anybody, I remember hearing about Prince Devitt, and then I went to my first Ring of Honor show. And I don't know if he ever wrestled for Ring of Honor or if he didn't, but basically, the guy that came out with that one group, Prince Nana, I heard Prince, and that made me think in my mind what these guys were talking about. And I remember the whole time that this guy was out there during this Ring of Honor show at WrestleMania 27, I kept looking at him like, this is the guy that they're talking about who has these dynamite matches, and he's just standing around outside of the ring. He's not even really doing anything. And it turns out I was just it was the wrong guy, and I was stupid. But basically, from watching this special, it's just basically talking about Prince Devitt taking his last tour to Japan and finishing up his wrestling commitments before heading off to the WWE to join NXT and relocate to Orlando. Devitt comes from a small city in Ireland, which is called Bray. In Bray, he's able to walk the streets like it's nothing. Like nobody even really pays attention to him. Like he's one of the most popular wrestlers in all the world. But when he goes and he wrestles on these shows, he causes this like mass hysteria of like basically like the Beatles coming to America back in the day, which is a horrible reference for you guys that are probably watching this, and it probably shows my age a little bit. But basically, it's showing Prince Devitt. He talks about his career and he lays it out. It's almost like what a first chapter of a WWE documentary would be, just basically saying who he is and where he comes from. He talks about just basically being a wrestling fan as he grows up. From there, he goes and they show pictures of him going to WWE New York and getting his picture taken in front of the restaurant while it was still open in business in Times Square. And he talks about just being hooked, getting the wrestling bug, saving up money, moving to England to join a wrestling school. I believe he said when he was 18, and from there just trying to push himself to get the next goal and push himself to the next goal. And that's basically why he's saying he's leaving Japan and Ireland and he's going to WWE, just because it seems like it's the next big goal and that's the next thing that he wants to conquer. They show clips of him wrestling in Ireland, a part of a wrestling company called was it ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, which he talks about just being more of a brawling sort of company where people just are there and they're cheering for brutality and they want to see it. The first thing I noticed from this is that I think this is the same company that Drew McIntyre returned to, and there's that big sort of wrestling viral video about him. The place goes dark and he comes out and he beats everybody up. How small the ring is. I know WWE, like Stone Cold Steve Austin's always talking about a 20 by 20 ring. That ring looks like it's 5 by 5. I mean, it looks tiny, and I don't know if it's just the angle that they shoot it at, or if it is smaller. But it looks, it doesn't even look like it's a corner of a WWE ring. I don't know how those guys take bumps in it. I know when people talk about working independent shows, sometimes they use smaller rings, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was talking about, there's some rings out there that you can't even do a back body drop in because your feet would hit the other ropes if you basically did it. Devitt, he talks about how he got into wrestling in Japan, how he went over there, and he was basically a young boy, which he called an intern, and gave a good description on what these guys do, because I've always heard about these, but I've always thought they were just basically tackling dummies for the wrestling dojos, just basically going there, helping the guys train. But it turns out that it's like you live in these conditions, and you're basically... servants isn't a good word, but basically you're just helping these other guys who are stars live. You cook for them, you clean for them, you wash their clothes, and you just make everything where it's easier on them, where basically they just have to worry about training and wrestling. And it's just the way that Japan has always done it. And basically from that internship, he was able to start wrestling on the shows and then becoming the big star that he was. They talked about him turning on his partner. He was involved in a tag team for a good number of years, and then they came down to a they came down to a difference in their they came down to a difference in it, and then basically from there in 2013 it donned the Bullet Club, which he wrestled in until 2014 when he left for his last match. And the Bullet Club took off, like wildfire. There's Luke Gallows wrestled over there, or not wrestled, wrestles as a part of it. They've also got the Young Bucks. A lot of guys that you would know from American wrestling, and a lot of guys that you wouldn't know, like Machine Gun Anderson, who's a guy who's basically nothing here, but he's a huge star, one of the heavyweight tag team champions over there with Luke Gallows. And it shows some of their wrestling promos. I'm not 100% committed. There's a little part of me that wants to see the Dome show just because of how much they're playing it up, and I know that if you order it on pay-per-view, which I'm not able to do, basically, you can get it with American commentary. Um, with the American commentary, of course, it's going to be Matt Stryker and it's going to be Jim Ross. But there's a little part of me that I have a lot of friends that really like to watch this, and I know that I took a lot of heat because last year at WrestleMania I was the guy who didn't want to stay up until I can't remember if it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning to start a wrestling show to watch it on television, and it didn't sound like it didn't sound like a whole bunch of fun of me, but I can honestly say that I want to see what they're doing over there. I don't want to be my guy with the head in the corner, basically acting like Japan doesn't exist. New Japan Wrestling is really taking off over there. A lot like people here in the States. NXT is one of the best wrestling shows there is here because of the fact that 3 hours of Monday Night Raw bores everyone. You can tell by watching Main Event, you can tell by watching SmackDown that it doesn't matter. They're not putting anything into it that is must-see television. So people are searching for wrestling that matters, and a lot of people that are watching this New Japan stuff really clicks. With the New Japan Network, it's only about $10 a month. With that, you're going to be able to see the Dome show on there. You won't be able to understand anything they say because I don't speak Japanese, but $10 to me, honestly, is an easy gamble to see if I'm going to like this. If you keep the sound on and the guy's acting outrageous, something big's happening. You can figure out what it is when you go from there. I know that with the Jeff Jarrett thing, he's talking about trying to figure out when the next time a good show would be able to put on pay-per-view to show off New Japan again, and if this Dome show works on pay-per-view, and he was thinking that more than likely he would wait the 6 months and then put the G1 on there. I know a lot of people really were in raves about the G1 tournament last year, about how great these shows were, and according to my friend Justin, he's saying that more than likely the G1 would be put on the New Japan Network as well, and to get that many shows for only $10 seems like a steal. I mean, I think there was 11 shows in that tournament, and whether if it goes into 2 months and you end up paying $20 for it, that's a whole lot better than when people paid $100-something to get those block of shows through Ustream, however they got them before, and plus with it being able to be shown on my Apple TV, being able to be on a regular television. Of course, I wouldn't be doing what a lot of people are going to be doing, is waiting up after the John Jones show and watching those live. I'd probably just watch it at my own convenience and just see if I'm able to connect with what's going down there. There's a lot of wrestlers that are on that show. New Japan, of course, has a lot of Japanese talent, but they're bringing over a lot of WWE guys. I apologize. American guys, and putting them over there just because it works. And a lot of guys like AJ Styles, the Young Bucks, that people like and they want to connect with. And I know I ended up talking a lot about New Japan at the end, but I didn't really have any other way to talk about it. But this is a great documentary. I got lots of questions. I think I went too long before asking these questions, but like Ireland, what's up with the nuts? All right, like in the beginning part of this, when they're showing Insane Championship Wrestling, you see guys, I don't know if it's sort of like how to get X-Pac heat or what this is, but when guys go up to the top turnbuckle, they take their singlet and they keep the junk in there, but basically the nuts are out. And I saw the nut dive like 2 or 3 times. And I saw one guy do the nut dive and then just do another like nut bounce right in the guy's face to pin the guy. I don't know if this is like the ultimate form of like embarrassment, how to embarrass these guys, but what's with the nuts? Somebody explain that to me because I want to know. Peace out.